This will begin our lesson about prepositions and diagramming prepositions. Please feel free to pause this video at any point to continue to take notes or to write things down that you may need tomorrow in class. To begin with, prepositions are words that show the relationship between a noun or a pronoun and another word within the sentence, which is the textbook definition. Probably does not make much sense yet, but it will by the end of the lecture, or it should by the end of the lecture. To begin with, prepositions do not stand alone in a sentence. They are always used in a phrase that includes a preposition and a noun. If it is by itself, it is no longer a preposition or it has been used incorrectly. Here are some examples here of prepositional phrases. The prepositions are in italics and they always end with a noun here. So we have under the bridge, above the stove, around the corner, through the woods, near the river, and below the surface. In the sentence, the job of these prepositions is to connect this noun here to the rest of the sentence. Without these prepositions, this word here no longer makes sense. So we have to have this preposition to have the bridge make sense within our sentence. I have heard many different sayings that people use to figure out if a word is a preposition. The one that I use is the plane flew, whatever the preposition is, and then the clouds. So if you can insert a word in here and the sentence makes sense, then you have a preposition most likely. The examples I have are the plane flew around the clouds, toward the clouds, outside the clouds, between the clouds, through the clouds, throughout the clouds, outside of the clouds, within the clouds. Insert any preposition there that you like. And again here, if you look, we have to have this preposition here to have the words the clouds make sense within the sentence. If you take around out of the sentence, it becomes the plane flew the clouds. The clouds no longer makes sense without the preposition. You have to have that preposition there to show the relationship between the clouds and the rest of the sentence. Again, I said that prepositions have to be prepositional phrases or they are no longer prepositions. Most likely they become adverbs. Here are some examples. We have he fell down. Down in this sentence is by itself. It is an adverb. It is telling us where he fell. He fell down. If we add the stairs to the bottom or to the end of that, it then becomes a prepositional phrase and down turns into a preposition. It's still telling us where he fell, but down's main point to this in this sentence, the main usage of down in this sentence, there's the word I'm looking for. The main purpose of down in this sentence then becomes to connect the stairs to the rest of the sentence. Again, if you take down out of this sentence, he fell the stairs no longer makes sense, so we have to have down in there. And here's another example. Trey walked aboard. There it's an adverb. It's telling us where he walked. Trey walked aboard the ship. The purpose of aboard in this sentence is to tell us how the ship works with Trey walked. A final note before we begin finding these in sentences and diagramming is that to is a very common preposition, but when it is followed immediately by a verb, it is no longer a preposition. Some examples that I have here are to walk, to read, to write, and to drive. Walk, read, write, and drive are all verbs. They are actions. So when we have to plus a verb here, it becomes an infinitive phrase. It is no longer a prepositional phrase. And we do not get into infinitive phrases for another few weeks. Now, one of the things that I am going to ask you to do first is to find prepositional phrases within sentences. I'm going to ask you to do two things. First, underline the prepositions, and then place the prepositional phrases within parentheses. So in number 1, the preposition is above, and you just check on your list of prepositions. If a word is on that list, it is a preposition. If not, it is most likely not a preposition. So we found our preposition, it's above. Now what I'm going to ask you to do is to place it in the prepositional phrase in parentheses. The preposition always begins the prepositional phrase, so that is where you start your parentheses, to the left of your preposition. In this case, it is to the left of above. Now ask yourself, above what? In one word, above what? And that is above the garage. So garage is the end of our prepositional phrase. We will put a right-sided parentheses then on the right side of garage. So our prepositional phrase, it's now very visual. We can see what we need to diagram now, and that is above the garage. That is what needs to be diagrammed. So we bring our lovely sheet of paper here, blank sheet of paper. Let's see, will it let me type? Okay, I need my tools. Let's see. To diagram. Oh, my writing is awful. Let's go here. Here we go. To diagram a prepositional phrase. Okay, there we go. Well, we begin with the basic structure of the diagram for a prepositional phrase, which is supposed to be, here we go, we'll use this. That will be, let me erase that. There we go. That will be a straight diagonal line here, and then we will have a straight line here. This is just like when we diagrammed subjects and verbs, we had the T shape. This is the basic shape of the prepositional phrase diagram. So on this side, we will write, let's see if I can write sideways. This is the preposition. And I'm going to abbreviate that. Your preposition goes on that diagonal line. On this line, we place the object of the preposition. And it is always, always, always either a noun or a pronoun. Always. It will never be anything else. Always a noun or a pronoun. And because I'm picky, we're going to make sure that that line gets all the way out there. If we have any modifiers to our nouns, which would be obviously adjectives, because anything that modifies a noun or a pronoun is an adjective, we would place those on lines, diagonal lines underneath whatever word it modifies. In this case, it would be here. And again, I'm writing sideways. Please pardon my handwriting. And I'm going to abbreviate again. Those are adjectives. You put each adjective on its own individual line here. So this particular prepositional phrase, if it were an actual diagram, it would have 1, 2, 3, 4 adjectives with the noun or the pronoun. Now let's go back to this one right here above the garage. Above is the preposition, so that would go on the diagonal line. Garage is the object of the preposition, so that would go on the straight line. And the is the only modifier that we have here, so that would go underneath garage. Back to this. Okay. Let's go to the next page and let's get an example. Okay. Let's say our preposition is with. Let's say the wild, crazy, yellow, fat cat. There is our prepositional phrase. So we are going to start with our diagonal line, our obtuse angle, okay, and then our straight line. The preposition is here, it is with. Okay. One of the things that I like to do as I diagram words is cross them out. Now I know I have that one diagrammed. I no longer have to worry about it. It is my preposition. Now, cat is the object of the preposition, so we will place that here. C-A-T. I can spell cat. And again, let's cross that out. Done. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 adjectives. We will place those underneath cat. 1, 2, I don't like those. Let us use the straight line. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll write again. The wild crazy yellow my line a little bit longer, and fat. Okay, now we are done. We have diagrammed everything within this prepositional phrase. Now, should you have more than one object of the preposition, I'm going to need to draw another. Here, we'll do this. Okay, let's copy that, get a new page, and then we will paste it. That is not what I wanted. We'll write it again. The wild, crazy cat. And we had with. And then let's have another object to this preposition, and the, let's say, lazy dog. There is our prepositional phrase. Again, we are going to start with the line for the preposition, but this time we are going to have to split the object of the preposition because we have more than one. Okay. And we get our dotted line here for our conjunction. Okay. So we have with is our preposition. And we will cross that out. Now we have two objects of the preposition, and we have one conjunction. For the conjunction, we write it here. And we place cat here. And that, can I get it to move? Should be up more. Here, we'll put dog down here. Okay, so cat goes on this one and dog on the bottom. We will cross those three words out because we are done. And then we will add our lines underneath cat and dog, the, wild, and crazy, and then the and lazy. So we'll see if I can fit this in here. Okay, we are done with those. And then the two modifiers for dog, the and lazy. And now we are done. And that concludes the lecture on how to find and diagram prepositional phrases within sentences. Please come to class prepared with any questions that you might have so that I can answer them for you and prepare you for the quiz.